Anybody want to spit the first question? Nobody? Raise your hand. All right. All right. Well, hello.
Hello. During the Benson workshop, we had a question came up, but there was no time to answer it. It was when you're in a battle, how long does your runs have to be? Not your set, but like your actual run. Like how much time does it have to take?
Mighty, you want to answer that question?
Yeah. So wait, what are you defining as a set and a run? Because you said there was a difference.
Yeah, like.
Sorry.
I'm defining a set as in something you came up with and put together, versus what a run would be how long it takes for the point you step out into
like
the floor
turn.
and then go back.
Okay.
So it would be like a turn, yeah.
Yeah. For me, I like to do them kind of short and sweet. So I usually do like a, I don't know, like 20 seconds or so for my whole turn or run or whatever. But it's just kind of, my thought is that you just want to do enough to, if this is like a tournament battle or a set battle, you want to do enough to like beat whatever they just did. Or if you're going first, you want to do enough to where you like set kind of the standard for the battle, like made a good impression in people's mind. I mean, there's guys like Thesis who goes for like a minute during his whole turn, and he'll go forever because he has a million moves, but at least for me, I would rather go short and just kind of get to the point and then do it that way. Wrap it up.
Answer your question? Or do you want to hear something from somebody else? What about schooling?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Testing. Okay. So, first thing is, it shouldn't be, in my opinion, I mean, everybody has their own approach, of course, but you don't have a time limit on that. Because every beat is going to be a different tempo. So you can't say, oh, I'm going to go out for 20 seconds, but this beat's like, boom, 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 boom. You know, you got to like build up for a while. So if you say 20 seconds, it's kind of regimented based on a certain tempo. And for me personally, I gotta rock the beat till it hits my soul before I even try to hit the floor. There's times where I try to just go against it, like, oh, I'm in a battle, I have to show the judges this, and it never works out for me. So for me personally, you gotta let that beat rock your soul before you hit the floor. Otherwise, if you go out to try to surf, you can't surf a wave before you paddle up to the wave. You're just gonna crash. So pretty much that's it.
Analogies, metaphors, pretty pictures. Okay, my philosophy on runs is a little bit more scientific. If you can bring science into breaking, but the way the ebb and flow of most pop records is produced is based around 8 to 16 bar progressions. What that means is something happens, something changes in the music every 8 bars. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 8. Usually there's a transition. Horns may come in, there might be a bridge, it might reach the chorus, etc. And I feel like when you execute, if you're in sync with the music, most of the time, to get to your point, it really should only take about 16 bars to get fully through. Like, so if you watch like most judges, most people that understand breaking, they instinctually know this. This is something that they're, over time, you just really get used to feeling and seeing, that when somebody does a perfectly executed run, it's usually on beat. It usually ends at the beginning of the next 16 bar progression. And they might not recognize that that's what's happening, but that's what's happening. Like when you end on time and you end on beat, it's usually within like a 16 bar like piece of music, like a part of the music. And so what ends up happening when people go over that is when you get that lull effect, you get that drop in energy, where if they finish like say midway through like the 3rd or 4th bar, it feels kind of awkward. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but like where somebody ends like, and it's like, oh, that, you know, what you did before that was cool, but all that extra stuff was unnecessary. Thesis is actually a good example of that, except he has enough energy to go like for 32. Like he can go 2 cycles in one run. Most people can't do that. Like, but he's able to go like 2 cycles in one run and end, and it's still like, wow, that was really cool. So for me, it's understanding how music functions, to understand how music functions, and if you understand that feeling, that overall feeling of the ebb and flow of the song, and you're really in sync with it, that's key. Like to be actually a part of what you're listening to have the music dictate what you do on the floor, even if you have like a set amount of moves or a series of things you're looking to execute. You still need to be able to make your stuff adaptable to within those parameters, because then it will feel like you're executing on time. It'll feel like you're on beat. It'll feel like you're synced with the music. That's the whole point. Like, and so to answer that question, the easiest way to figure out how to do that is to listen to music like from a different like perspective. Like, you know, count. At first, just count it to see how it goes. Like, put on a pop record, put on a Katy Perry record. Every single record is built around the same fundamental structure, like pop music is, which is usually verse, chorus, verse, maybe a bridge, back into a verse, chorus, etc., and then it's done. So if you can figure out that methodology, right, you can usually learn how to be within like a succinct period of time when you execute a run, where it's not going to feel awkward, ending too early or ending too late.
That's a musical theory lesson right there.
Actually, I want Woody to explain, like, back, because you do it now, it was totally different how it was back in the day. When you went into a battle, you didn't think of like, oh, I'm gonna beat this guy's run, so I'm gonna do this and this and this, how it is now. But back in the day, it was just like, what do you, like, how did you actually approach it?
Yeah. When I first started, I started in 1994. I was in DC5 in 95 or 6. And when we would go out on our rounds, we would have like, okay, Mighty, he's good at doing windmills, so he's our windmill guy. If you come out with a windmill guy, Mighty's gonna get you. And this guy over here, he's our flare guy. So if you come out with flares, hopefully you got as many as he does. So if he does 3 flares, he's gonna do 4, and we win. It was pretty basic how it started out. And from there, like, when I first started was when we first started hearing about combos, and we didn't have YouTube or anything like that, so we were, when I would hear about a combo, I had to kind of try to figure out exactly how okay, this guy says he saw a guy in California or wherever he's from. I saw a guy one time that did a windmill, and he went up and did a 1990. Figure it out. So that's how our rounds went. So we weren't, like, I totally understand his 16 bar, you know, kind of that time frame, but I mean, it wasn't really about that when we started. That puts a nice little bow on it. If you can finish right on that, you know, that's great. That's gonna look good for the judges, for the crowd. Everybody's gonna be happy with that. You're gonna feel good about it if you hit that beat right at the end. But it's, for us, that wasn't really how it started. I mean, that wasn't how it was.
So basically, there is a big bridge gap of how competitions were from back then to now. Everybody's so focused on how to win a battle, and then back in the day, it was more like, how can we, you know, improve on what we got, your own skill set, not try to battle somebody else.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that real quick too, is like, there's no rules. I mean, like, that's something that is like, it's just a pattern in music that I feel like everybody should learn. Like, if you want to treat this as a dance, like, because I came up under his generation, and like, I was a part of that whole, like, massive learning curve that was like breaking before YouTube. Like, you guys have no idea how lucky you are, because you have an entire body of experience available for you online. Like, we didn't have shit. I remember the first time I saw an air flare, I almost peed myself. Like, it was like physically unfathomable. Like, you have to realize, like, you know what I mean? Like the concept of a windmill 90 was literally Like, I mean, just imagine this. Just imagine, like, you've never seen breaking before, ever. And somebody was like, yeah, you need to do this, like, backspin thing with, like, your legs, and then you go into your hands and you spin on one hand. Like, just do it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, that was, like looking at breaking and, like remembering seeing them, it was, like, literally the execution of the move was, like, all you needed to build, like, a reputation for yourself. Like, so that question, like, the question that he posed is very much, like, grounded in, like, the fact that you guys have a crazy wealth of information that you can even get to an advanced question like that. How long should a run take? Like, back then it was like, yo, let me just do this. Like,
yeah, that's kind of based on competition, whereas battles and cipher battles are a completely different critter, like where you're gonna kind of go at somebody's throat, and it's a little more aggressive, it's a little different. But when you get into the competition feel, and maybe you're paired up against somebody that's, you know, in your own crew, and you guys are just kind of showcasing each other, you know.